Hello everyone. So it's Miss Maria here, your economics teacher, and I just wanted to make this video for you to demonstrate how to use the graph paper properly, as I noticed that there are common mistakes that many of you are making. So first of all, well, the most important thing is you read what's written in the task. So if it says that you need to draw 4 graphs in one line, that's basically the request. So make sure you understand that. Don't draw 3 of these individual demands on one chart. It's not entirely incorrect, but that's not what is said here, and you might end up in a tricky situation when it might not allow you to go forward. Okay. So what I've noticed is for many of you, I guess I have a list of key problems here. Many of you are not drawing according to the scale. And a good example is here. Maybe you could see that the student has kind of gone on, off and off. It looks like it's drawn on a whiteboard when you don't really have your squares. And there is a reason why we purchased these sheets for you. Is, as you can see, there are already 10 little squares in there, and they are divided into little fives. So it actually makes your work much more easier to come up with your scale. So that is not according to the scale, and it really changes the view of the curve. Now, another good example is this one. So over here you could see that it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Like, there's no logic in this step. Okay, if you decided that 1 centimeter is just 1, okay, it's 2, makes sense, but then the next one must be 3, and then you would have 4. But you can't just change your scale as you go. And same thing here, 1, 5, 10, 17, 28. That does not make sense at all. So that's another example. So you are the boss of your scale. You are the one to choose. So a good example here, and Zhenya did a really good job for this exercise, actually the best job out of the 2 groups. And I just want to demonstrate what he did right on here. So for example, here for the demand curve of Michael, we know that he's consumed 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16 chocolate bars. So he decided, okay, so these 5 little squares would be 2. So obviously 1 will be somewhere in between. So he placed his point right here, right where it would be in the middle of 0 and 2. Okay, so then the next one goes 2 correctly, 4 here at $60 or 60 rubles, 8 at 40, and 16 at 20. Then we go into the Maria. So Maria has a little bit different demand, like she consumes less chocolate bars. Maybe she's on a diet. So she does 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we correctly place the 0 right on the price axis. And that is another mistake that I've seen some of you make. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there you go. So you can see that for some reason the student missed that there is still a demand point here. At the price of 100, there is zero quantity demanded for the chocolate bars for this individual. So in this example, Zhenya decided to keep using the same scale. So it goes 1, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on for until 16. And it's not incorrect. I'm not marking this down, but in what I would do, I would understand, okay, the maximum here is actually 4. So why bother in sort of this, drawing all of this up to 16 when you can actually decide that this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And this way the demand curve would be a little bit enlarged and it would just look a little bit better. But this is still correct, the same one for Joseph. And then we go into the total demand. And I just remind you that the total demand in this case would be really the sum of all the individual demands. So 1 plus 0 is 1, 2 plus 1 plus 2 is 5, and so on. So we have 1, 5, 10, 17, and 28. So what Zhenya did really well here is that he dropped the idea of having the same scale of 2, 4, 6. He could do that, but it would create a very a natural situation. And let me show you what I mean by that. I don't have it here actually, but you would need to draw a very, very long quantity axis, and that would again distort the design, I guess, of the demand curve. So what he did is he selected that every 5 little squares would be equal to 5. So we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So 1 would be placed exactly when 1 little square is located. You could see that. I don't know if maybe you will see it in person better. Then again, we have 5, 10, 17 is right in the middle between 15 and 20. And again, this graph paper allows you to be very precise. And the same for 28. It's exactly at the point where it needs to be. So this is the correct total demand curve. So another thing that I want to point out is that in terms of the prices, you can see, so this is our Y axis and these are our X axes, and this one actually too. So for Y, you don't need to go like in very details, of course. All you need to demonstrate is that there are prices with the step of 20, so 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. So you don't need to put 10, 20, 30, and so on, and all the way up to 200 like one of you did. It's just, these are just enough, and they can be the same for all of these charts, because again, we basically have the common y-axis. Okay, so 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. Okay, so you are the boss of your charts and you are the boss of your scale. You decide which step are you going to do. So I just want to, just for future reference, for example, if you have a results for a quantity demanded, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 5, and then all of a sudden you have 100 and like 120, for example. Obviously, you won't have enough space at any sheet to create something like this. So what you could do, you still need to go according to the scale. So you would have your 0, you will have your 1, 2, 3, use your division lists, okay? So 3, 4, 5, okay? So you have your 1, 2, for example, and 5. Then you show that you realize that it's going to be cut. So you show the cut and you continue with your 100, okay? And like 120, for example, okay? But you show that there was some cut here. You don't need to write all the way to 100, okay? So that's one thing. What others? I've noticed that there are mistakes that would make a very unfortunate result. So, for example, over here, it's just a inaccurate placement of the point. So we have 5. This is a market demand. So at price of 80, we have 5 chocolate bars. So fine, actually this is according to the scale, but the line for some reason goes above. Do you see that it doesn't connect with the actual points? So this is a point for the price 80 and this is a point for the price 60. But the line, I guess what the student was trying to do is he was just trying to connect these two dots using a ruler. That was a bad idea because the curve is actually not a line, but a curve. And we would absolutely need to show the curve in real way. So we would connect the dots, not just connect the two prices like of 140 and just forget. Okay, so going back. And one more thing, I do request you to always label your demand. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because very soon we will add supply curve. Okay, so right now we have your demand curve, but very soon we will add supply. And I want to make sure that you have a habit of properly picturing them. There will be more curves on the same chart the next year, okay? The next year, I mean, when you will be in the next class. So make sure you always label your curves and always label your axes. So you are not confused, first of all, and also you demonstrate your knowledge of what is what. So I guess that's all what I wanted to tell you, and I wish you luck with your homework. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll gladly answer them. And Zhenya did a very good job once again, so congratulations to you, and thanks for your attention.